Discover the inspiring transformation, crying homeless girl revealed as a millionaire CEO's hidden daughter. Lily huddled beneath the tattered blanket that smelled faintly of mildew, her heart racing as she peered through the alley. A chilly gust of wind rustled the litter around her. She shivered, yet a flicker of hope danced in her eyes. Today, perhaps, someone would notice her. She'd been practicing what she'd say, something that might tug at the heartstrings of a passerby. Help please, she thought. Every bit counts. Her mother had been battling illness for days, eyes clouded with worry instead of light. Lily, it's just a little cold, she'd say, but the fever in her voice told a different story. It broke Lily's heart. Mama was all she had. So, she brushed the grime off her face and took a deep breath. They would get through this. They always did. It wasn't long before a kind woman noticed them. She was bundled in a bright red coat, and Lily couldn't help but think it looked like a warm hug. You two look like you need some food, she said, handing over a sandwich and a warm coffee cup. Lily could barely contain her joy. For just that moment, they were not just shadows in the city, they mattered, but that evening, just as the sun dipped below the horizon, Mama's cough turned into a wheezing struggle. Before Lily knew it, the ambulance was there, strangers in uniforms whisking Mama away, and all Lily could do was stand helplessly by. The hospital's sterile scent wrapped around her like a cold chain. When she finally found Mama in a tiny room, fear gripped her chest. Mama, please. Tears streamed down her cheeks. Each heartbeat felt like a thunderstorm against her ribs as she waited for news. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. With Mama hospitalized, each morning Lily woke to the teeth-chattering cold and the empty space beside her. Alone, she trudged to the local diner. She never imagined working there, wiping tables and giggling with patrons could make her feel alive again. Conversations flowed like coffee, the dreams, the secrets. She helped regulars find their lost items and cheered them up when they felt down. In helping others, she began to heal. Just when she thought things couldn't be more chaotic, she was tracked down by a slick lawyer. With trembling hands, he revealed that she was the daughter of a wealthy CEO, a man who had vanished, leaving her and her mother to fend for themselves. The notion that a life of affluence could lie just beyond her reach felt like a bitter irony. At a community event at the diner, she took center stage. We can do this together. She shouted to a mixed crowd of faces, each one radiating its struggles. Claps and cheers filled the air, a chorus of resilience. Hope lit up the dim diner as stories were exchanged. Yet, behind the applause, her father loomed large, a specter ready to confront her very essence of family. Could he recognize the value of love over wealth? And in this moment of triumph, would he step forward, or remain shackled by regret? The questions hung heavy over Lily, merging hope with uncertainty as she prepared to face the truth of her past. Lily's heart raced as she stepped off the small stage, the crowd's applause still echoing in her ears. She caught glimpses of familiar faces, etched with stories of struggle yet brimming with resilience. Yet one face seemed to overshadow all the others, one she had never seen, but whose existence loomed over her like a dark cloud. Her father. She felt a pull, a longing to understand the man behind the title, the one who had left her and Mama to navigate the storm alone. As she wiped away the faint remnants of tears, her thoughts spiraled. What did he look like? Would he even want to meet her? Questions bounced around in her mind, unrelenting. The diner bustled with renewed energy. Laughter filled the space, weaving a fabric of connection that felt both comforting and overwhelming. In that moment, she was no longer just the scared girl from the alley, she had become a voice for her community. Lily! You were amazing! Shouted a familiar voice, snapping her from her reverie. It was Maria, the waitress with a heart of gold. The older woman wrapped her arms around Lily, squeezing tightly. You have spirit, girl. You brought us all together. I just wanted to help, Lily replied, her cheeks rosy with warmth. She felt a flicker of purpose ignite within her. Maybe she could use her story to carve out a path not just for herself, but for all of them, the overlooked, the ignored. But the joy that enveloped her was pierced by reality. Suddenly, the doors swung open, and a figure stepped in, tall and sharply dressed. A chill ran through her as he entered. Could this be? Her heart pounded like a drum, each beat echoing louder than the last. He scanned the room, his gaze finally landing on her. Time froze. The buzz around her faded into a muffled hum. It was as though the world had narrowed down to just the two of them. A lawyer? A messenger? No, this man bore the unmistakable air of authority. The resemblance between them sent a tremor through her. Lily, he said, his voice deep but hesitant, as if testing the ground beneath his feet. What do you want? She blurted, a wave of defiance washing over her. How dare he just step in? He had no right after all these years. I'm here to talk. He took a tentative step closer. About your mother. And you. This was the moment she had been waiting for, yet dread pooled in her stomach. You want to talk about her? You think you can waltz in and pretend to care? I never wanted to lose you, either of you, he replied, taking another step forward. His eyes, which held a mixture of regret and something else she couldn't place, locked onto hers, a bridge forming around the unspoken words. A stirring well of emotions began to bubble up inside her. Was it really possible that the man she had built in her mind could care? Could he actually want to connect after all these years? Confusion swirled, battling between anger and the hope of understanding. She felt the eyes of the diner burning into this moment, waiting. Would she open her heart to this man who had been absent from her life, or would she close the door forever, allowing the past to drown her future? Then, just as she was about to respond, her phone buzzed in her pocket. The screen lit up with a message: urgent meeting with CEO. Must discuss your circumstances. Lily's heart dropped. What did they want from her now? Was it him or her future on the line? She looked back into her father's eyes, ready to choose between two paths. Which would she take? Lily's pulse quickened, the message on her phone dimming the world around her. The diner faded into a blur, the chatter and laughter ebbing, leaving her only with the weight of her father's gaze. She felt trapped, her future, whatever it held, tugging at her with agonizing insistence, demanding her attention while shadows from her past threatened to absorb her whole. Lily? Her father's voice sliced through the thick air, filled with uncertainty. I know this must be overwhelming. No, you have no idea, she snapped, a mix of fear and fury bubbling to the surface. The crowd had grown quiet, their ears tuned in to this charged moment. You disappeared for years. You don't get to come in here, flaunting your past like it's something I should be grateful for. The bakery sense that usually comforted her felt oppressive now. A heady mix of cinnamon and coffee turned sour in her stomach as resentment edged its way to the forefront. Surely, the world knew she had battles to fight without him complicating them further. His expression faltered. I understand you're angry, and you have every right to be. I am not here for excuses. I just want to talk to help. Help? After you left us? She felt her voice rise, drawing the curious attention of patrons around them. The atmosphere shifted, it was a tightrope of tension stretched far too thin. What can you possibly say that will change any of this? Just listen, he pleaded, pushing his hands through his hair in a nervous gesture. What would you want me to say? I can help with your opportunity. The word opportunity hung in the air between them, heavy with implications. A moment to redefine everything. There was an opportunity waiting on that phone, one that could pull her away from the shadowy specter of her father, yet the prospect of finally confronting her past consumed her heart. She had fought so hard for every breath of independence, did she really want to risk it? What do you know about opportunity? She replied coolly, leaning against the counter, feeling the sturdy surface beneath her as though it were the only anchor she had. Do you have any idea what it's like to struggle, to fight for every dime we had? His shoulders sagged, and she could almost see his defenses crumble. I didn't walk away by choice. I thought it was best for you both. But that's not an excuse. I get it. And I know I can't change the past. His voice cracked slightly, and for a moment, there were two wounded souls, grappling with their history, her mother's pain, his regret. Tears threatened to surface again, her heart flaring with the rawness of it all. She had so many questions, so many untold stories swirling in her mind, but time was running out. The message buzzed again, the urgency now becoming a clamor in her thoughts. Listen, you have a chance, he spoke softly, a pleading kindness in his voice. If you can choose this moment, that phone, or me, I can help you navigate through whatever you decide. Your future is bright, Lily. Just think about it. And in that heavy silence, she felt the pulse of possibility beginning to resonate within her thoughts. Could she really embrace change? Could she open up to the complexities of family while grasping for hope? The seconds ticked by as the crowd seemed to hold their breath. Tension wrapped tightly around her, squeezing. Waiting. Lily closed her eyes, letting the weight of it seep into her bones before redirecting her gaze back to him. Before I decide who gets a part of my life, I need to know, are you truly invested in making this right? Or simply after what you lost? Her voice was steadier now, fierce in its inquiry. He stepped forward, sincerity etched on his features. I want to be if you let me. But as she opened her mouth to respond, her phone buzzed once more. The screen flashed with a new message, meeting rescheduled to immediate. There is something pivotal we must discuss. Lily's heart plummeted. The decision loomed like a fork in a darkened road. To confront her past or forge ahead into the unknown future, what would she choose? Lily's breath hitched, the weight of her father's gaze still pressing heavily on her chest. She clutched her phone, the words glowing ominously, pulling her forward like a tide. The deafening silence of the diner was punctuated by the faint clinking of coffee cups, conversations resuming at a distance, but she was frozen in this moment. Lily, her father's voice broke through again, softer this time. You don't have to decide right now. But she felt the urgency race through her like a bolt of electricity. The meeting could change everything. This opportunity promised a chance at independence, a break from the struggles she had endured. Yet here was her father, a reminder of the pain that still lingered in her heart. Why now? She said, her voice steady but trembling at the edges. After all these years, why do you think you can just walk back into my life? Was I just an afterthought? His eyes clouded over with remorse, and for an instant, Lily felt a flicker of sympathy. Yet, she quickly shut that door. This was not about him. It was about her. I need to know you mean it, she continued, hardening her resolve. That you're not just looking for some kind of redemption to ease your guilt. I swear, he replied, his voice echoing her fears. I'm not here for absolution. I just want a chance to make things right. For you. She hesitated, her mind racing back through blurred memories of a childhood filled with laughter that had turned hollow after he left. Could she really allow him to re-enter her world? No, she whispered, shaking her head, feeling unmoored from her anger, revealing an unguarded space filled with vulnerability. It's not that simple. You left, and I had to pick up the pieces. I know, he said gently, taking a step closer. I see that now. I see you. You're strong, resilient. If only I had been there. Stop, she interrupted, her voice breaking. Just stop. All this talk doesn't change the years I spent without a father. I learned to live without you. She could feel the tears threatening to spill, a potent mix of sadness and confusion knotting her throat. The phones buzzed again, cutting through the heaviness. Look, I've gotta go, she said, a tremor in her voice. This meeting might be my only chance to break free. I can't let you keep pulling me back. Lily, please, he reached for her, but she stepped back. I need to take this. She turned away, using the shrill voice of her phone as a shield. As she stared at the screen, she found herself caught again, these two men tugging at the strings of her heart. One offering freedom, the other a chance for closure. Taking a deep breath, she answered the call, the anxiety surging in her veins. She could feel the buzz of the diner fade as she focused on the voice coming through the speaker. Lily? We need you here now. There's something crucial that could impact your career. Her heart raced at the urgency in their tone. But then the static of the call broke, as she half turned to glance at her father, who stood on the edge of her world looking forlorn. The choice was before her, a path woven with uncertainty and dread or the echoing remnants of a shattered past. Could she really step into the unknown, or would she let herself be pulled back in by the familiar? As she gripped her phone tighter, the room tilted once more, the decision locking her in place. What if this opportunity came at a cost she wasn't prepared to pay, and in that charged moment, she questioned everything. Would confronting her past give her the strength she needed to embrace the future, or would her father's presence shatter the fragile hope she'd built? Without realizing it, she had been holding her breath, waiting. Lily came his voice again, but her focus was caught in a new message that flashed urgently on her screen. If you don't come immediately, we'll have to move forward without you. Time slipped through her fingers. Something life-changing lay ahead, but would she risk it all for clarity in the murky waters of her past? The call shifted, inviting her to embrace what was to come, but would she choose to fight for herself or take a chance on forgiveness? What would she decide when time slipped away? The moment lingered thick, like the syrup in the diner's signature pancakes. Lily's heart pounded as she glanced again at her father, a familiar mixture of longing and resentment swirling within her. She could barely hear the voice on the other end of the line anymore. "Lily, are you there?" The urgency returned, snapping her back to the present. "Yeah, I'm here," she mumbled. Her eyes darted between the phone screen and her father's face. "Listen, we really need you here. It's important. It's about the project we discussed. If you don't come now, the opportunity may slip away." She felt trapped, stuck as if in a dream where every choice mattered infinitely. Abandoning her phone to focus on her father felt impossible. He was here, vulnerable and nostalgic, and yet a storm brewed inside her. Choices swirled around her, each potential path laden with its own weight. "Please," the voice on the phone persisted, "this could be the break you've waited for." A break. Memories of late nights, scrimping and saving to make ends meet flooded back. The fight to carve a path out of shadows and into the light. Yet here stood the man she had tried so hard to forget, her father, offering words as fragile as glass. "I need to think," she snapped, her voice rising with frustration, surprising even herself. "I know you do," he said, his tone softening. "And I know I don't deserve your trust. But I want to be here for you. If you'll let me." Her chest felt tight, constricted with the doubt and hope wrestling inside. It was all too much, too raw. The past tangled with her future like brambles in a thicket. Swallowing hard, she hesitated. Could she really allow a chance at forgiveness to interfere with the chance of a lifetime? Lily, her father's voice cut through her thoughts, filled with an unexpected tenderness. "You don't have to make this decision alone. I'm here." The sincerity in his tone tugged at her heart. Years of resentment poured into her consciousness, mixing with the memory of the man who used to lift her into the air, making her feel like she could touch the sky. "Is that what you want? To be here?" she asked, the edge of her voice quivering. "Why now?" "Because I've had time to reflect, and I realize what I lost when I walked away. I want to support you, even if it's late. I want you to chase your dreams." The clock at the diner ticked softly, moments slipping away. She felt each second heavy against her skin. She clutched the phone tighter. That conference call promised a future built on her terms, but that future felt dimmed beside the flickering flame of new possibilities with her father. "And what if I can't?" she whispered, the fear rushing back and mixing with the glimmer of hope. "What if I fail?" "Then we'll face it together," he said, voice steady. "Trust me enough to give us a chance." She inhaled deeply, caught in a moment that felt both freeing and suffocating. The path laid before her seemed paved with uncertainty. If you can't decide now, then call me when you're ready," he said, drawing back slightly. As he stepped back, the invisible thread tethering them quivered. She struggled with that blank space of potential. She blinked, trying to find clarity in the whirlpool of choices. The vibrating phone in her hand reminded her of the urgency waiting on the other end. "Lily," the voice pricked her from the daze, "don't wait too long. Sometimes, the windows of opportunity close way faster than we expect." As the call faded, leaving only the trembling weight of silence in its wake, she searched her father's expression. Could she bear the risk of opening old wounds for a chance at something new? For the first time in years, she felt the distinct pull of hope whispering in her ear, coaxing her to take a leap of faith. What if hope could be a bridge toward a different future? With the noisy diner swirling around her, she stood on the edge, wondering if she had the courage to cross that bridge and meet the uncertainties of both her past and potential future. And, paradoxically, she suddenly realized the most pressing concern wasn't about her career or her father. It was deciding who she wanted to be when all the choices ran out. But in the chill of that moment, the path forward remained shadowed, and she feared making the wrong choice could cost her everything. Would she bring her past into the light, or would she step into the darkness of the future to forge her own way? Lily stood motionless, the noise of the diner faded into a distant hum, blurring the edges of her reality. Her father's gaze locked onto hers, searching, pleading a look only a parent could wear. It was disarming, like a mirror reflecting back years of pain and the soft glimmers of potential healing. "I never expected you to reach out," she said finally, the tension in her voice still present but tinged with curiosity. "I didn't either," he admitted. "But life has a way of reminding us what truly matters." His words met her heart like an unexpected visitor, knocking on the door of memories long tucked away. She remembered the laughter, the warmth of summer days, the enthusiasm in his eyes at every tiny victory she'd shared. But she also recalled the anger of abandonment, how his absence etched itself into her, reshaping her world. "Are you just saying this because you want something from me? Honestly? You could say I want to be a part of your life again. But I'm here because I believe in you, Lily." "I want to see you shine," he replied, anguish smoothing the sincerity in his voice. His honesty threw her momentarily off balance. She instinctively held her breath, wrestling with the rush of simmering emotions within her. Was it even possible for forgiveness to coexist with such deep-rooted pain? "Trust is hard for me. You know that," she said, barely above a whisper. "I know," he said softly, stepping closer. "And I'm not asking you to rush. I'm asking you to think about it. Just think." His eyes were filled with a mix of regret and hope, an unsettling combination wrapped tightly in memory's embrace. She didn't know what to say. Instead, she nodded subtly, feeling the weight of uncertainty press down on her. The phone buzzed again, breaking the moment like a clap of thunder. She glanced down, her heart racing. The caller was Hannah, her mentor, calling with the opportunity that had the power to change everything. Her dad hesitated, the air thick with anticipation. "You should take it. I wouldn't want to hold you back." His willingness to step aside surprised her. She had expected him to fight for her attention, to cling to this moment. It laid bare the stark truth. Perhaps he understood sacrifice better than she gave him credit for. "Do you think I should?" Lily asked, the words spilling out before her thoughts could catch up. He paused, and in that instant, a break in the dam began to form. "I think you should chase after what sets your heart on fire. Use this opportunity. We can figure the rest out together." His eyes sparkled with something she hadn't seen in a long time, hope, for both of them. Just maybe, they could start over. With her heart pounding ferociously, she lifted the phone. "Okay, I'll take the call. But we need to talk after, really talk about everything." "Absolutely." His voice held a tremor of excitement as he stepped back, giving her space. Taking a deep breath, Lily steadied her fingers over the screen, ready to indulge in a conversation that could redefine her future and, perhaps even her fractured relationship with her father. As she pressed answer, an overwhelming mix of emotions surged through her. But as she heard Hannah's voice spill through the speaker, it wasn't just the excitement of new possibilities that washed over her. It was the realization that she stood at a literal crossroads. What if everything changes? She thought as the words washed over her, falling slowly into an unknown future where hope and fear intertwined in a dance she had yet to learn. As she struggled to balance on the edge of what was possible, an unsettling thought arose. Was she ready to face the past to truly embrace the future? The call answered, the whirl of life resumed around her, but beneath it all, a new question emerged. Would making this leap lead her closer to herself or shadow her with echoes of goodbye? "Lily, are you there?" Hannah's voice broke through the haze clinging to Lily's thoughts, sharp and clear. Yeah, I'm here. She struggled to focus, her gaze drifting from her father's earnest expression to the bustling diner around her. The smell of coffee and fried food mixed with anticipation and anxiety. Good. I'm glad you picked up. Listen, I know how hard it can be to make these decisions, but this opportunity doesn't come twice. I know, Lily replied, her mind racing. It's a role at the Innovation Lab. They want someone with fresh ideas, and I immediately thought of you. Your perspective is unique, and I believe you could really thrive there. Her heart fluttered at the words. It was everything she had been working towards, a stepping stone to her dreams. But anxiety crept in beneath the excitement. What would it mean to leave everything she'd ever known? What if I'm not ready? Hannah chuckled softly, sensing her doubt. You are more ready than you think. Sometimes the leap is the only way to find out what you can really do. Just then, Lily's thoughts drifted back to her father. He was watching her, his eyes bright yet fragile, like a fire that flickers but willfully maintains its glow. The weight of their unfinished conversation loomed over her like an unspoken pact. Hannah urged her gently, "What's holding you back, Lily?" It's complicated. My dad is here, and things between us, they're so fragile right now. I can't just abandon him again. Is he asking you to stay? Hannah pressed, her voice laced with sincerity. No, Lily replied slowly, feeling the tangle of hope and fear spiral within her. He wants me to go after my dreams, but I can't shake the feeling that you owe him something? Hannah finished for her. You're not abandoning him. You're choosing to build the life you want, and he is giving you that choice. Lily sat in silence for a moment, the words echoing. It felt surreal, her father's quiet heroism shining through as he stepped back to let her fly. Okay, she breathed, conviction slowly taking form in the hollow pit of her stomach. I want to accept the position. The enthusiasm in Hannah's voice made her heart swell. That is fantastic. You won't regret it. I'll set everything up and call you with the details later. As Hannah hung up, the world around Lily sharpened into focus. This was happening, and for the first time in ages, she could feel a thrill bubbling beneath her surface. Pushing the shadows aside, she looked up at her father, who was still standing patiently. A wave of emotion washed over her with renewed clarity. This was more than just a job, it was a chance to redefine herself, to step into the person she was always meant to be. Dad, she started, her voice trembling slightly with newfound determination. I'm taking the position. I want to chase my dreams. His reaction was immediate. A slow smile spread across his face, transforming his features and warming her heart. I'm proud of you, Lily. That's what I wanted for you all along. As she soaked in his pride, an unfamiliar sense of trust blossomed in her chest. Perhaps hope wasn't so elusive after all. But just as she felt herself start to relax, the diner's door swung open with a loud clang. A figure rushed in, a wild look in their eyes. The air shifted as the energy of the room changed, and all eyes turned to the newcomer, intrigue and unease weaving together in a palpable tension. Lily's heart began to race once more. Who was this person, and why did they look so frantic? What could they possibly want? Amidst her excitement and the potential of her new chapter, a ripple of unease snaked up her spine, hinting that perhaps the next moment wouldn't unfold quite as she expected. What if this stranger held keys to the revelations she hadn't yet grasped? Lily's breath caught in her throat as the stranger burst through the door. She couldn't help but notice the disheveled hair, worn jacket, and the frantic way their eyes darted around the diner, as if seeking something or someone. A hush fell over the patrons, and everyone seemed frozen in time. What's going on? Lily whispered to her father, who was still gazing at the newcomer, a mix of curiosity and concern etched across his face. The figure, a young woman not much older than Lily, stepped further inside, her hands trembling slightly. She looked over at the counter, then back at the crowd gathered around her. Please, she finally spoke, her voice cracking. I need help. Has anyone seen my brother? The urgency in her tone carried a weight that pierced through Lily's earlier excitement. She instinctively leaned forward, listening intently. The atmosphere grew dense with sympathy. Strangers were quickly leaning into the conversation, willing to offer assistance, drawn by the palpable desperation in the newcomer's plea. "Calm down," an older man spoke, standing up from his booth. "What's your brother's name? When did you last see him?" A collective murmur spread through the diner as the woman took a shaky breath. "His name is Jamie. He's been missing for 2 days now. I can't find him anywhere." Lily's heart ached. The chaos of her own life started to fade as compassion surged within her. She glanced at her father, who squeezed her hand gently, signaling to her that it was okay to pay attention, to care. "What does he look like?" Another voice chimed in, cutting through the tension. The woman lifted her chin, determination flickering in her eyes even as tears brimmed. "He's got brown hair and he's a little shorter than me." She paused, wiping her tears away with the back of her hand. "He's quiet but sweet, and he wouldn't just leave. Please, I just want to find him." As she spoke, Lily felt a strange connection forming with this stranger. It was raw and heartbreaking, yet somehow strengthening. The diner's mood shifted, turning from mere onlookers to allies in a quest for hope. Everyone in that room could feel it. They were included in something bigger, something that mattered to Lily. Stood up, her heart racing. "What can we do to help?" The room turned to her, surprised by the sudden willingness to step in. The woman looked at her, hope blooming amidst despair. "I don't know, I just need someone to help me look. I don't know where else to turn." Her words echoed in the diner, pulling at the heartstrings of every person present. Without even realizing it, Lily was already thinking of how this connection could shape her journey toward autonomy and passion. She wanted to be involved, to take action, not only for this woman but for herself as well. "Let us split up," the man who had spoken earlier suggested. "We can ask around nearby neighborhoods, maybe check places he likes to hang out." Lily glanced at her father, who nodded, a silent encouragement to dive headfirst into the unknown waters of empathy. It stirred something deep inside her, a resolve intertwined with her own dreams. Sure, she had her own path to forge now, but it didn't have to be isolated from the community around her. By stepping into the urgency of this search, perhaps she could find clarity in her own feelings. As conversations exploded around her with newfound determination, Lily felt a warmth begin to spread, weaving its way through her chest. This wasn't just about chasing her dreams anymore. She was part of something meaningful right where she was, and with every moment spent rallying her fellow diners, she wondered whether what she had set out to find would draw nearer than she ever expected. What if, in helping this stranger, she stumbled upon her own answers? Lily felt a flicker of energy buzz through the diner as ideas bounced around, mixing with the anxious anticipation of the unknown. Plans were hastily formed, voices blending together in a chorus of determination. The sense of urgency filled every corner, and in that moment, nothing else mattered. "I can check the park," a man in a baseball cap exclaimed, his face set with the focus of a hunt. "Steve, you should look by the library," a woman chimed in, her eyes darting around the room for someone else to join. Lily watched as her father slipped from the booth, joining the whirlwind of discussions. His warm smile encouraged others to step forward. Among the crowd, Lily's heart swelled. People who moments ago were strangers now rallied behind a single cause. They had transformed into a community with a shared purpose. Lily took a deep breath and approached the young woman again. "What was the last place you saw Jamie? Maybe we could start there." The hopeful look in the woman's eyes pierced Lily. "He likes the old video store on Main Street. It's basically been his second home since we moved here." "All right. I'll head over there," Lily said, her resolve solidifying. "I can check in at the other shops too. Maybe someone has seen him." The woman nodded, gratitude spilling from her like sunlight breaking through clouds. "Thank you so much. You don't know how much this means to me." As Lily dashed toward the door, her heart pounded in rhythm with her thoughts. The urgency in the woman's voice replayed in her mind, spurring her feet faster. With every step, she felt a mix of fear and excitement. What if Jamie was safe? What if he was still out there, just waiting for someone to find him? The street buzzed with life, oblivious to her frantic mission. Each shopfront she passed brought a flicker of hope. If people could come together in solidarity for a stranger, could she also uncover the depths of her own potential? Arriving at the video store, Lily took a moment to collect herself, pushing the door open with a resolve she didn't know she possessed. The small space was dim, filled with the scent of popcorn and ancient film canisters. She approached the cashier, an older woman with gentle eyes. "Hi. I'm looking for Jamie. He has been missing. Has he been here?" The woman's brow furrowed. "I haven't seen him today, but he comes by every week. Last time I saw him." As the woman shared little snippets of Jamie's habits, Lily's breath hitched. She felt the threads of life weaving tighter, pulling her deeper into this unfolding story. With every answer, she sensed more of Jamie's presence. It was as if he was a ghost lingering just out of reach. She stepped outside again, dread swirling in her gut. What if no one found him? What if he was lost forever? Guilt wrestled with urgency. She wasn't just helping a stranger anymore. This felt personal. Fueling her determination, she decided to venture to nearby places Jamie might frequent: the skate park, the library, even the bakery that always had the best cookies. Each new stop added to her growing list of connections. She was searching for more than just a boy. She was chasing after a sense of belonging that had been elusive her whole life. As missing posters flapped gently in the breeze, one thought burned in her mind: what if Jamie is more than just a name to me now? The loud ringing of a phone snapped Lily out of her thoughts. She reached for her pocket instinctively, but it wasn't her phone. It was the woman's voice, cutting through the crowd. "Thank you. I just got a call. Jamie's been spotted." Lily's heart raced. She could feel the collective gasp from the onlookers. "Where?" she shouted, her voice rising above the noise. The woman turned, her wide eyes glimmering with hope. "A few blocks away, at the abandoned warehouse." Lily's stomach twisted. Everything was suddenly on the line. In that moment, she wasn't just chasing after answers. She was racing towards a destiny that was about to unfold in ways she could never have imagined. What would happen when they found him? Would everything change then? Lily stood at the edge of the crowd, adrenaline coursing through her veins like a rushing river. The urgency of the woman's words propelled her forward. The abandoned warehouse. She called out, grabbing hold of the young woman's arm. "We need to go now." They sprinted from the diner, the chill in the air contrasting the heat of determination burning within them. The streetlights flickered like stars illuminating their path, as if even the universe knew a life was at stake. With each step, Lily felt a sense of purpose she hadn't encountered before. She heard fleeting whispers of encouragement from the townspeople behind them and glimpses of their faces filled with hope. People were united, and it felt beautiful. As they neared the warehouse, a sense of dread settled in her stomach. It loomed dark and dilapidated, almost like a forgotten chapter of her own life. She hesitated at the entrance, a rush of familiar fears creeping in. But then she thought of Jamie. He was someone's brother, someone who mattered, and the thought ignited the flame within her. "Stay close," she instructed as they pushed through the rusted doors. Inside, the shadows danced eerily against the walls. Dust motes glimmered in the sparse light filtering through cracked windows. "Jamie!" she shouted, her voice resonating within the empty space. "Jamie!" The young woman echoed, her voice trembling slightly. The silence hung thick around them, broken only by the scuffling of footsteps. As they moved deeper, Lily felt another rush of fear from the shadows. But she was here for a reason. She would not turn back. "Let us split up." Lily couldn't bear the weight of the unknown. "If we cover more ground, we can find him faster." The woman nodded, her eyes reflecting gratitude and a shared mission. Together, they moved through the maze of outdated machinery and long-abandoned crates. Then, against all odds, there was a quiet whimper from behind an old stack of boxes. Lily's heart pounded as she approached the sound. "Jamie?" A shuddering breath, then yeah? Relief washed over her as she peered around the stack. There sat a small boy, his hair tousled, eyes wide with fear and confusion. He looked up, and in that moment, everything changed. "We're here to help," she said softly, kneeling in front of him, willing him to trust her. "You're safe with us." Jamie looked hesitant but reached out for her hand as if she were a lifeline in a storm. She lifted him up gently, and together they stepped back into the light. Jamie! The woman rushed forward, wrapping her arms around him tightly, her tears spilling out like rivers. I thought I lost you. Mom, he mumbled against her shoulder. Watching the reunion felt like witnessing the sun break through after a long winter. In that moment, something clicked in Lily's heart. The pain, the struggles, they never outweighed the love and connection that anchored people together. Her thoughts drifted back to her father. Maybe, just maybe, there could be forgiveness for them too. As they all climbed out of the warehouse, a crowd had gathered, cheering beneath the trembling starlight. Lily felt exhilarated as she led Jamie and his mother back, the emotions swirling like a buoying wave of joy. Mouths turned into wide smiles, laughter replaced worry. Thank you, Jamie's mother whispered to Lily, her eyes glistening. Lily grinned back, a warmth bubbling inside her chest. You're welcome. I'm just glad he's back. And in that warmth, Lily felt pieces of her past aligning with her future. Her father stood quietly at the edge of the group, watching her with pride filling his gaze, a flicker of hope kindled between them. Lily, he began, but she raised her hand, signaling him to wait. Not now, she said gently but confidently. But I will talk to you. There is so much to share. Let us find out if we can build together instead of lingering in the past. He nodded, gratitude flooding his expression as he stepped forward. I want that too. As the crowd erupted in cheers, Lily realized this moment was not only about finding Jamie. It was about healing, a testimony to resilience, community, and newfound trust. Amidst it all, she felt like she was waking up to a world that could hold both new beginnings and chances for forgiveness, intertwined like the paths of their entwined lives, each essential, each beautiful. With everyone drawing together, Lily made a silent promise to chase her dreams while holding her community close. To make a life defined not by isolation but by connection. This was the beginning. A beautiful journey that transformed the landscape of her heart forever, and as the stars twinkled brightly above, she whispered into the night, let us do this together. You need to subscribe now to not miss the next exclusive stories that inspire, uplift, and connect us. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and support our community. Comment your thoughts and feelings about this emotional ending. Your voice matters. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Real change starts with us coming together.